Hey guys, welcome back to the TradingFX channel and with another weekly analysis. And we're going to take a quick look at what's coming up in the markets, possible trade setups that we could encounter for the upcoming week, as well as some of the fundamental news that may be driving some of these factors. All right. So as you know, for me as a trader, I do use fundamental news as a catalyst for the trade setups I am looking at. And particularly what I'm looking at for this week are AUD/USD setups for long continuations, as well as some GBP setups as well, and some yen setups too. Okay, I have limited my setups towards just the AUD and the GBP to some extent, as well as just yen cross currency pairs. Okay, so taking a quick look at the markets, and let's take a quick look at the fundamentals first. Let's dive straight into it. For the upcoming week, what we do have first starting off the day on Monday, the new trading week, we have CHF CPI data for February. All right, so we have the overall CPI, Consumer Price Index, if you don't know what CPI stands for, and we're expecting an increase here, a marginal increase, as you can see what the consensus is to the previous. However, if we do see that increase, we should see the Swiss actually increase, right? We should see a rally in the Swiss itself. And you can see we also have inflation rate for the CHF as well, looking for a possible come down, right? Around negative 0.2%. So if we do get that as well, that may be positive for the CHF. Now, something for inflation, what you like to know is that usually when inflation numbers are higher, that gives a better sort of a signal to buy a currency, because it means that we can see some monetary tightening as well as interest rates increase for that currency, whichever currency you are looking at. So that is why when you look at data such as inflation rate, and we can take a quick look here, right? You can see that they state a higher than expected figure should be seen as positive for the CHF, while a lower than expected figure should be seen as negative or bearish for the CHF. Now, this just stands for when we have normal inflation and not currently what is happening with global inflation being higher than ever for each economy. So that's why I think if we do see inflation numbers actually decrease here, it will be good for the Swiss national currency itself. All right. So we also have some retail sales coming out for the euro. We have a heavy news week actually, taking a look at it. And we also have AD retail sales, and the more important data here is the interest rate decision. So we expect an increase by 0.25%, as well as the retail sales. We're expecting to see a positive spin. So if we do have retail sales coming out higher from that -4, any number above this, I think, would be great for the AD, as well as if we have interest rates come out as expected, this should also increase the AD as well. So looking at Monday, and this actually coming out at Monday evening, somewhere around 11:30. All right. Looking at the AUD, I am looking for long continuation. So here in AUD/USD, let me just remove this. All right, so for possible setups for AUD/USD, you can see here that we are currently sort of on a range bound here on a daily time frame. We can see price has made multiple supports in this zone, as well as at the top here, the resistance price has pushed up bullishly into that resistance, closing, and then the week bullish on that daily candle. Now looking further on, what we could possibly see is a break above this resistance zone and some continuations. My first TP target will be somewhere around in this resistance zone. All right, we can see that price was pushing down, and then we had multiple rejections from this area, right? So as price comes up, this will be a new resistance zone to look out for. And if we could peak above that, then my next target will be somewhere around here. So these are the two areas that I am looking at to see, potentially price actually rally into. Now, if we do have everything coming out good for the AUD, as well as some upcoming USD news, I do think we should see that continuation, all right, kind of uninhibited by any sort of price action once we do pass this resistance zone here. So looking at it for on the 1 hour, I would like to enter on the 1 hour here. If we could actually see price pull past above this here, And once we do have that, I do think we should more than likely see those continuations higher. All right. And that's when I will be looking to just hold the trade as long as possible and see price rally to the upside. See if we could target this area first here, and possibly as the week continue on, because we do have a lot of high impactful news. So a lot of chances for momentum and this catalyst to play a part on the price action movement itself. All right. So if we do have the USD news coming out a little bearish, we would see an increase here on the AD, as well as if we have risk sentiment actually changing for the positive, we'll see a rally on the AD as well continuing on. So this would be like a 200, and let's say 220 pip move if we're able to see price push above here. All right, so I do think that this will be me continuing for the opening of the week. I'll actually look for a trade setup targeting right into this level firstly, and then look for some sort of support to be held once we push past this level to continue even higher. But this will be the trade setup that I'm interested in. Okay, now taking another look here, what we do have coming up for the day afterwards, more CHF news. We have Fed Chair Powell testifying. Obviously, come and speak about the economy, labor market, as well as unemployment. What they're looking towards to seeing from the central bank in order to increase rates, anything that they are paying attention to, any certain data that they are looking to see more improvement on as such for the possible increase in our rates. We did have comments from the other Fed member. I believe it was, hold on, let's just scroll through here. Yeah, right here, we had Fed Birkin. All right, if inflation persists, we can see rates rise even further than forecast, right? So this is what they're looking at. This is some comments he said. Labor market is still quite tight. Inflation is likely past its peak. Inflation expectations are well anchored, but under surface movements warrant caution. My view is still in step with the FOMC. We still have work to do. Expect no rate cuts this year. All right. So basically, the bottom line is we could expect rates to continue moving higher rather than seeing the rates actually fall lower. All right, so we are rumored to possibly see rates rise to 5% and even more above 5%, all the way to 6% rate hike increase. All right, so with that being said, that may play into some positivity for the dollar. However, we do have those looming recession of fears when it comes to recession and all these other the constant raising of rates, but yet we're still seeing inflation continue rising, which may have a negative impact on the US dollar itself. So we may see a turnaround on the US dollar on the release of this interest rate increase. However, we would see that rally being quickly dwindled away and price fall even further for the US dollar. And that just has to do with market psychology, something that you see time and time again. And once you notice these patterns, you can expect them to play out again and again. Once we do see the inflation numbers lining up with all the previous data that we had before, when we do have that interest rate increase come out, then that is most likely the case when it will come to the US dollar. Looking at other AED pairs actually here, I am interested in picking up the AED card for longing as well. And something that you can note is that the AED and the AED USD and AED card both do show similar price action data. So you can see here on the daily time frame, this is how the AED card look. Taking a look at the AED USD, basically the same thing, right? You can see that they are very similar to each other. And we have been seeing the US dollar and the Canadian dollar move in tangent with each other. So with that being said, I am looking to possibly take this up long. If I do enter AED USD long, I would like to minimize my risk exposure on AED card if I do pick it up, just because again they are moving quite similar to each other. So if one fails, then more than likely the other may fail as well. So to minimize our risk, especially if we're paying the exposure out there, you want to enter this trade setup, especially if you're looking at something that's moving similar to another. You'll want to minimize your risk on that asset. So that is something that I'll be looking forward to doing too here. if we take a look at again at the fundamentals, some news that we do have coming up, we have the trade balance on Wednesday for the CAD. A lot of euro movements too, right? We have a lot of euro news too. Employment change, GDP growth, and I do think we have some more stuff down here, right? So this was Fed Chair Powell speaking. Yeah, we have BOJ interest rate decision, as well as some more USD news events here. And then on Friday, we have NFP and some GBP news as well, looking at the GDP, right? Month on month for January, the month of January, looking to see an increase here. And we have some more CAD news on Friday, right? So this may be where we see the bulk of movement from the Canadian dollar. Especially here on the employment change, we can see that the previous was 150 and the consensus for now is 10K, right? So employment change is looking to be kind of a lot less than the previous month, all right? So with that being said, it's kind of mixed, right? Because more than likely this number would be higher. However, I don't think I'll be taking any additional risk on the Canadian dollar on Friday itself, right? Unless I am in a trade already and I'm holding it, then so be it. But I'm possibly not going to take any new position on the Friday itself, as it will be overly exposing risk. I'm just going to risk around 6% for this week. And every week I have been risking 6% in total. And if we do make gains, then we enter the next week with that 6% baseline risk and continue to gradually compound and grow our accounts or our profits as we do get more profits, yield more profits from the market. Okay, but if we do hit that 6% mark, then we're finished for the week and we just wait for the next week to get better setups. And that was the goal. That was the risk management strategy that we had for last week at this point for our trading strategy, and it played out pretty well. We did fall back and forth as price started wicking, and we saw some ranging and some very weird price action movement, especially from the GBP yen. And continuing forward, we were able to exit the market, however, with a profit around 4%. So not much, especially for me, as I was doubling my risk on every trade that I did take. So that kind of played into the part of why my overall percentage gain was around that 4% mark. All right. But anybody that risking 1% or so should have been above that 4% return. That being said, other possible trade setups that we can look at here, the Euro AD and Euro USD. All right. So as you already know, I said the USD, I'm more bearish on the USD right now, especially with the upcoming news events. I am looking for the possible spikes in favor of the dollar. However, that spike would most likely turn around. So I'll be waiting until I see those sort of price action movement. Once I do see possibly the dollar spike in one direction, let's take a look here on the Euro USD, for example. All right. So let's say this is Euro USD right now, right? And if price continues pushing up, then that's great. I'll wait until the news event, especially if we do have some positive news. Let's see what sort of USD news we have coming up first, right? We do have Fed Powell talking first, right? Which is the Tuesday. We have Fed Chair Powell testify. So if this causes a spike on the dollar in favor of the dollar, that means that in this case, the dollar goes down, right? We see the dollar spike down. I'll wait until the ending of that movement or that hour, whatever the case is, and I'll pick this up long. And this is just part of the price action, market psychology analysis that I've been doing for quite some time now. And it's something that I've noted happening time and time again, especially when it comes to US dollar and the current fundamentals that we do have affecting the market. So with that being said, in terms of any USD strength plays and we see the US dollar rally, I'll be looking to pick it up long after the ending of that rally. Such a case is this right here. We saw the euro come up towards this resistance area, and then we saw it kind of pull back down here. Now at this point, I've been taking it long because after this big wick to the downside, we start seeing this bullish candle formation. All right, we can see that price wicked away from here. Then we pull back down, and then we formed this bullish green candle. At that point, I would pick this up to go long, but I wasn't looking at Euro USD at that point. I was looking at AD USD, which basically follows along the same price action pattern, right? Picked it up here firstly to see a continuation, price pulled back, and this is something that you could expect to happen. All right, we saw price pulled back, we saw it gradually come back into this area. We picked it up long here, and then we tried to pick it up again somewhere right around here. I believe is when I tried to pick it up again. But yeah, this was the AD USD trade idea that we did have, and I could actually show you guys from within the Discord community. Let's just see here on AD USD, right? So this was one AD USD trade that we took, came out around 3%, and this was where we picked it up. Right here, yeah. So this was where we picked it up here, right? So this was the chart at the point of time when price came back into that supportive level. And as you can see, I just said I bought here with a 2% risk. It's a riskier setup because it was a pretty tight stop. I do use tight stops on my trades for now. And the stop loss was 13 pips, looking for a range continuation, fill of the range bound area. And it seems to be the current price action movement. All right, you can see price gradually played out to do that. Now we took profits slightly here, as it looked like price may come back and retest that zone again, just to avoid, again, I was sticking to 6% risk in total, so to avoid any potential unnecessary risk, right, added to the overall risk management that we were doing. I opted to come out of the trade or take some slight profits if price was going to reapproach all the way back to break even. All right, so as you see, came out of that, we entered the GBP CAD, and you can see then afterwards price nicely played up after that retest, right? Price continued to play higher, and it happens. It's just one of the things that happens in trading sometimes. But we were able to get back on the trade on AD USD right here as price formed this new support on Friday market, the market evening, and we were able to come out around with a 3% profit, a total of 6% because I risked 2% on this as well. All right, so yeah, you can see here came out, yeah, around 2%, almost at 3%, because price did come back into this zone that I had marked here. All right, and that was it. That was one of the trades that we got. And I also picked up the trade here on GBP CAD. You can see it failed first time, then I re-entered, and as we came to market close, it came back up as expected to continue the movement, and we were able to come out with a 2% profit, risking 2%, which made it over a 4% profit. So again, it was a good week, but crappy price action. So it's just one of the things they need to note, and sticking to your trading plan, usually everything works out. Continuing forward, now again, this is what I'm looking at for the AD/USD, and the same thing for the the Euro/USD as well, right? So AD/USD, if price does pull back, I'm just looking to take the long on that USD pullback for a correction move to the upside. Anything else? I think JPY is something that I'm really interested in. However, right now the price action has been very rangy, right? Looking here at the daily time frame, you can see that this is basically where all our focus is on JPY. Now looking at the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart, you can see that there's barely much movement from price right now. If anything, we'll be looking for a breakout of this zone, I'd say. If we could get a breakout off of that zone, then whatever direction we do look to continue in, I'll be looking to pick up that position. More than likely, I'll be looking to pick up longs on to the short side, on JPY. If price manages to come all the way back down into this supportive level, I'll be looking for a breakout to the downside, especially since we do have the interest rates, I believe, for the yen currency, right? Interest rates for yen coming out at, when is it? Is it the Tuesday? Yeah, interest rate the Tuesday, right? Rates are expected to stay the same negative, which is something we see from the BOJ as well as the CHF. These are the more safe haven type currencies, and there's a reason why they have negative rates. Okay, but we're not going to dive into that. I'm not going to bombard you guys with too much information now. If rates do remain the same, I do think we could see some intervention from the Bank of Japan, possibly, and we could see a rally to the downside here in favor of the yen. Now, again, this is all probability, something that could play out. In terms of the price action movement, I would like to see price come lower here and possibly break to the downside. Once we do have price come into this supportive level, I would look for continuations lower. And at that point, I'll be looking to pick up GBP, JPY, and possibly NCD, JPY. Alright, just because GBP, JPY hasn't been given the best of movements right now. So with that being said, I'd like to expand my options on the yen currencies themselves. Alright. Possibly also may take a look at USD JPY. Again, on the US dollar, pretty bearish right now. With that being said, we should get more momentum, more of a better yield on USD JPY if prices continue lower. A nice target level for me would be somewhere down here. It does seem far away, but it is very possible to see this in the upcoming week. So this is something else I'll be looking forward to possibly seeing price play all the way down here, especially if we could get a rally off of that USD news and a correction. Then yeah, this seems like a higher probability trade setup for me to possibly take and get into. So these are the only trades I'm looking at: USD JPY, GBP JPY, and also the AD USD. All right, and more or less these are the only trades that I'm possibly gonna get into. I'm not gonna be throwing my risk everywhere. Again, I'm sticking to a very tight risk management strategy, which is that negative 6%. Right, if we hit negative 6%, that's it for the week. I am risking 1% per trade, and as the trade go along, then I'll double up the risk. Sorry, I said that in reverse. I'll be risking 2% per trade, right? So I'll take a 2% trade, maybe two 2% trades, which is a total for 4%, all right? And for the last 2%, I'll be risking 1% on one and 0.5% on the next one. If the two trades that I take don't work out, so just to give you guys like a clear example here. So for the starting week, my risk is 6% total, 6% risk. How I'm divvying up those risks, I divide those risks is I'll take a 2% trade. Let me just 2 trades for 2%. All right. Now, if this doesn't work out, sorry. Then my other risk would be 1% on a trade. And then if that doesn't work out, it'll be 0.5% on 2 trades. And this is basically my risk management strategy right here. All right. So if those 2 trades don't work out for the 2%, I'll risk 1% on the other trade. If that doesn't work out, then I'll risk 0.5% and 2 other possible trade setups. So I'm giving myself the opportunity to get in on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible trades. All right. And this is being very conservative with what trades I'm looking at. Like you just saw the trades that I'm looking to potentially get on into, so you know what I'm going to be entering on or what I'm looking at specifically. And as the week continues, if that does change, then I'll be looking at other things and I'll keep you guys updated as I'll be posting more content, more videos, more regularly. And with that being said, if the trades do work out in my favor, then I'll keep risking 2% until I end up into the situation where I failed 2 trades for 2%. All right. So if this does work out, then the other trades I do enter would be for 2%, continuing on until we do run into those 2% trades losing. so to a 4% loss, then I'll fall back on this risk management. Whether maybe I'm up 8-10% for the week already, if I do lose those 2 trades, then I'll fall back into that, risking 1% and then risking 0.5% if it doesn't work out. So if I reach all the way up to 12% in total for the week and I lose 4, that means I'm at 8% now. I lose 1%, that's 7% now. And then I lose those 2 trades, then that's 6%. And I'll just be contented with a 6% gain for that week. And this is the risk management strategy that I'm using right now. So with that being said, that's it. I'll just leave this for you guys to see it. And you can follow along with this as I would be posting my trades in the Discord as well when I'm looking at potential trade setups and stuff like that. So you can follow along with the risk management, see, whether it's a risk management strategy would take in for yourself into account and, whether it's feasible or not to do. So that's it for this, guys. You guys see what I'm looking at. We see what's up and coming for the news events. Something, again, that I'm looking to pay attention to on the Friday too is NFP. You can see the NFP numbers are pretty low, right? So from the previous, we had 517K, right? And we're expecting a consensus of 200K, which is quite low than the previous. Now, if this number does come out higher than expected from that 200K, then that's going to be a big rally for the US dollar, especially since it's currently very weak. And if it doesn't, then we're going to see a very, very bearish fall on the US dollar itself. I do think that the numbers may be higher than that, depending. Some of the news data that we can look at leading up to this will be stuff like the initial jobless claims, looking at this, how many new jobs are created, how many people are filing for unemployment. And we're also looking at the Fed Chair Powell testimony on Wednesday. And we have him speaking on Thursday too, right? So we had 2 times that he's coming up to talk here. So some of the comments that he makes here, we can use that as a guiding tool for what to expect for NFP coming up, as they do take a look at all of these other fundamental data points to, drop a number of what NFP is currently at. So we could use that as a marker to basically guess, okay, is this number going to be higher, lower, as expected, vice versa, something that we could expect, as well as looking at the unemployment rate and stuff like that, right? So that's it for me, guys. Hopefully you found this video informational and informative, and you feel free to leave a like as well as subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And yeah, this is what we'll be taking a look at this week. We do have a very high impactful news heavy week. So with that being said, you want to be able to manage your risk a bit more tighter, more conservative than usual, because we're going to see prices working back and forth, and some very shifty price action data as these catalysts and the price action would move in tangent with market psychology too, right? So what are the markets thinking when we see these news releases and stuff like that? And that may burst a hole through your price action trading if that's what you primarily do. So that's just to keep in mind as well as a mental note. All right, guys, so thank you for joining in. Really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful and enjoyable weekend, as well as an enjoyable trading week coming up. All right, guys, so thank you for joining in. Peace.